it is a terrorist attack, but first and foremost, it's a white supremacist attack. I've already seen some media have non-Black people on it saying, this could happen to all of us at any time. And that's not true, especially once specifically targeted to kill Black people.
So when we examine the manifesto or even just read about it, because it's really hard to actually examine it, this idea of the replacement theory that Tucker Carlson routinely spouts on Fox News, that members of Congress, Elise Stefanik and J.D. Vance, Republicans who are mainstreaming this theory, this is a pretty clear link to what happened in Buffalo, right?
Yeah, and Elise Stefanik is up here, they call it the North Country. That's between Saratoga, after Albany, to Buffalo. She's a sitting congresswoman. I've read the replacement theory, but I mean, historically, right, ever since indigenous people were used, Africans, Chinese, and other people exploited, especially work exploitation and capitalistic exploitation. This country has never wanted Black people here. It saw them as non-human, as chattel that would be here to work the fields and then die. Whether you call it replacement theory or white supremacist thinking, or the fact that this country is looking Black and browner more and more every day. It's looking more like some of the parts of the rest of the world. And then being coupled with so much disinformation and propaganda, reading something like that is not surprising to me. It's not surprising the age of the people it's targeting, which is younger white kids that might be disaffected, and mostly because of the growing inequity in this country. But I also think it can be linked to what is happening right now with the possibility of Roe being overturned and abortion being illegal and no longer a right in so many states, and maybe if not the rest of the country pretty soon. They need more babies. Like, to me, what they're trying to do is a white project nation building right now when their numbers are going down. Here's this young white man who had already been flagged, went armed. He would have killed more if he wasn't stopped. He was stopped without being killed. He wanted to do this at another supermarket. But then we can go all the way to the totalitarianism we're seeing with the potential and of not just abortion, but reproductive rights, right? I mean, white men in power are at least going to want white women to be able to produce their white babies, while then they're using this replacement theory to, have us killed or carted away or other forms of mass incarceration. I don't think we need to be writing books anymore about like white people figuring out that they live in a racist country and have had privilege just by the nature of being white. We need to figure out on the Black and brown radical or create a really radical revolutionary left that is about creating self-determination and sovereignty in our communities, and also preparing ourselves, and how many people down south are, or in other parts of this country, are arming themselves and preparing themselves. I mean, it's been part of the Black radical tradition, right? And this coming week, we celebrate Malcolm X's birthday, and that's what he talked about. He was like, basically, they're going to do what they're going to do. What are we going to do to make our community safer for ourselves, and self-determine ourselves? And we can see that happening with a younger generation, and particularly Black and brown people that are like, we're growing farms, we're moving away from the big cities. We need to know how to protect ourselves. We need to know how to heal ourselves. We need to have mutual aid. We need to figure out other forms of sharing information, because we're seeing already how the right wing, or, quote, conservative, mostly white men, control all of social media. And soon we might not be able to get ideas out in this way. So I think moments like this call on us for now not to put our energy into changing the hearts and minds of white people. Like I've been done with that, but I really think a younger generation has to stop trying to make white people feel better because of how they are born. That's for them to contend with.